Hello and welcome once again to JavaScript 101. This is a really important lesson. We're starting to get into slightly more sophisticated stuff here, stuff that will make our websites and our code a lot more interactive and a lot more interesting. So strap in and pay attention and make sure you pick up this lesson and get this concept really well. We're going to be talking about a concept of if or if then or if else, has lots of different names, but it's the idea that our website will check if something's true and only do it if it is true. If it's not true, it can do something else or just not do that thing. So this is a really important way for adding interactivity to our websites, and it allows us to branch depending on the decisions of the person, the user. We can do one thing or another, and so we describe that as branching, as we can do different things in response to what they do. So that's a little bit of an explanation of why this is so important. Let's get straight into it and see how it actually works. So I'm going to say that my website is, I'm putting myself in the shoes of my students here. It's really only for like year 9 and 10 students. It's pretty sophisticated. I wouldn't want a younger sibling visiting it. So I want to do a quick age check and make sure anyone younger than like 12, probably not cool enough to visit my website. So I'm going to create a variable called age. And we'll say it's a little brother or sister and they're only 10. And we're going to check the age and we're going to say either they can access the website or they can't. This is just sort of an illustration to show how it could work. So here's how we write an if statement. We write the word if, that's a good start, if. And then in brackets, we say what we want to check. So we want to check, in brackets, if age is greater than 12. That's what I said. If people are over 12, they're probably, they're teenagers, they're ready for my website. If not, too young. Hopefully you're familiar with the greater than symbol, the crocodile eats the bigger one. So if age is greater than 12, then I want the person to go ahead and access my website. I'm going to put in curly braces, and anything that's inside these curly braces will only run if age is greater than 12. So I'm going to say, I'll just do an alert like we usually do. Welcome to my cool website. In case you can't tell, I am being deliberately uncool in how I talk about this. So when I run this, age is 10. It will say, is 10 greater than 12? No, it's not. And hopefully nothing will happen. Let's save. Let's refresh. Let's run the script. Nothing happened. Okay, maybe it just doesn't work. Let's make age 14. That's about the age of some of you. Save, refresh, run the script. And this time it does say, welcome to my cool website. Okay, so that worked. Let's add this. So we've said if age is greater than 12, do whatever's in these brackets. But when, in the curly braces, but when it was only 10, nothing happened. So that was a bit annoying. So we can, sometimes that's fine. Sometimes you just want to check and only do it if it's true. But we want it to tell them they're too little, get out of here. So we can say, if it's true, say, welcome to my cool website. Else, that is otherwise, if it's not true, curly braces, we can do something else. Sorry, kid, you're too little. Let's save. Let's make age 10 to see if it actually works. Save, refresh, and run. Sorry, kid, you're too little. It worked. So, age was 10. It checked if age was greater than 12, it would have done this. But since that wasn't true, instead, otherwise, it did whatever was in this section between these braces. And it said, sorry kid, you're too little. Hopefully you can see how that's structured. Notice I put else on the same line as this. I didn't put it in a new line. There's different ways. It wouldn't make any difference. The code would run just the same. But I like to have it on the same line. Oh, I've messed up the spaces. I like to have it on the same line because it tells me that this is actually one set of instructions. If this is true, do that. Otherwise, else, do that. Okay, let's apply if else in a different way. Like I did last time, I'm going to comment all of that out because I might want to refer back to it later. But I don't want it running right now because it'll just slow down my program. So let's try something else. Let's actually get the user to do something, because we were just changing age here, which doesn't really make sense. Let's ask the user what their name is. So we've done that before. We use a prompt to come up with a pop-up box that asks the user to input some information. So let's have a var called name, and that will equal whatever they type into this prompt. What is your name? Okay, so the user will type in their name. If it was me, I'd type in Chris or Gat or whatever it was. We can now check what the name is. So we can say if name, so whatever the user types in, if that equals, I'll do Gat. Now I want to point out a few things here. Notice I put 2 equal signs. That's because the normal equal sign, a single equal sign, actually doesn't mean equals in coding. It messes with people's heads a little bit, but all these other times when we've been saying equals, what we're actually saying is assign this value or let name equal whatever we've said. It's not the same as saying it is equal. It's a bit confusing, but when we put the 2 equal signs, now it's actually checking, does name equal, is it the same as Gat? Notice I'd put Gat inside quotation marks because it's a string, it's text. So if name equals Gat, and you can put your own name there, then I want to say alert, welcome home, because I'm in my website. If the name isn't Gat, well, I still want to greet people, so I'll say alert, hello stranger. I'll save that, refresh, let's run the script. What is your name? I'm going to say I'm Bob, and when I hit OK, hello stranger, it's said this didn't match, and so it's given me the second option. If I run it again, this time I'll type in Gat, OK, welcome home. One little thing I will point out, if I put Gat lowercase, then it's not going to match because I've got capital G there, and so it says hello stranger. So you do have to make sure it's exactly the same case and everything. All right, that's a similar application. Now we're getting some prompts from the user. We can actually ask them something and respond based on how they answer. Let's do that one more time. I'm going to cut that and paste it down inside here so I don't lose it, but it won't run and slow down my tutorial. Okay, let's quiz them. Let's see how you could create a simple quiz. A new variable, we'll call it answer, and we're going to give a prompt again. We're going to ask, what is, I've said before, my 8 times tables aren't very good. What is 8? I'm going to use the X to look like the multiplied sign, times 7. That was always my hardest one in primary school when I was learning my times tables. What is 8 times 7? I'll put a space and then a question mark so it doesn't get confusing. What, and actually maybe I'll get rid of them, I'm being a bit pedantic now. So what is 8 times 7? We're going to ask that question. Hopefully you can already work out how you would finish your if-else statement. We'll say if, and what do we want to check? We want to see if the answer equals 8 times 7. Now we could type in here 8 times 7, but since I already know it equals 56, I'm going to type it in there. Notice no quotation marks this time. It's a number, not a string. It's not text. It's a numerical value. If they get it right, alert, correct. Else, if they said anything other than 56, we'll say, sorry, dummy. Let's save, let's refresh, let's run. What is 8 times 7? I'll say 55. Sorry, dummy, not correct. Let's run that again. I'll say 56. And I got it correct. Okay, that is the power of the if-else statement. It lets you respond to what the user has done in different ways. It's so useful. You'll use it all the time in upcoming projects. Happy coding!